Hi everybody, this is Dr. Schroder with this week's video introduction to week number 4. And we're officially at the halfway point. Monday of this week actually is the halfway point, and I apologize for this being a little bit delayed. I'm posting this on Tuesday. Usually I have them up either on Sunday night or on Monday morning, but I just got delayed with many tasks this particular Monday. So a little bit of a late getting the video introduction up. But nevertheless, we've had a good discussion and a really good 3 weeks of class. You're halfway there. The discussion questions this week were on focusing on 2 topics. One is a continuation of focusing on your writing. And writing is going to be something that we're going to be focusing on quite a bit in the program, particularly in this class and your next class. Your next class is actually assigned as a writing class, which is why I'm spending as much time as I am talking about the process of writing, getting you some feedback on your writing. And so your exercise this week was on outlining. Outlining is an important tool that all writers use. An outline serves as the basis and the template or the blueprint, however you want to put it. Starting a paper with an outline helps to keep it organized, helps to keep it concise, and many times just gives you a place to start writing somewhere, even if you don't know exactly what to write or how to start. Starting with an outline is generally a pretty easy idea. And so you've each had an opportunity to write an outline and give each other feedback on an outline. And you're going to be doing outlining again in this week, in week number 4, preparing for your presentation that's going to be due in week 5. I'll talk about that in just a second. We also talked about teamwork and collaboration. And this is important as well. We're going to be continuing that discussion also in week number 4 and talking about actually how conflict is managed. We talked about more teamwork collaboration in week 3, and this week we're going to talk about how we manage teamwork using something called the Dutch Conflict Management Index, which is a tool. An index is, we use the term tool, or sometimes surveys are called tools. It's a tool because it's a way for us to go in and actually look and to diagnose some things that are by their nature very subjective, and conflict and the way we handle conflict is something that is, it's a very subjective process. And so this week we're going to be looking at that, and you're going to be applying that process to either your workplace or a previous workplace or even your school environment to assess how is conflict handled, how is it managed, and that's going to be the basis of the discussions this week. Also in week 3 was do your meetings. Now, many of you haven't posted that yet. Remember, you need to post the meetings that you're going to be attending for your week number 6 paper. You need to be on those. Also, I've left you a few of you some feedback on meetings that don't sound like they were really meetings per se, but more educational seminars or an educational conference or presentation. And that's not really the kind of meeting that we're talking about here. In order to be able to apply the objectives and be able to answer the questions or follow the rubric for the week 6 paper, it's got to be some sort of a meeting where you have a leader and followers and some work going on, some actual collaboration, rather than just one way where you have a presenter or a group of presenters giving information about something. So please review my feedback there, and if you haven't submitted those meetings, please make sure that you do those in the assignments list. This week you're going to be planning for your week 5 presentation, and the presentation that you're going to be doing, it's pretty open-ended, and that's by design. You are going to be doing a presentation addressing some issue of professional nursing. And I've gotten questions from a couple of you on, well, what exactly does that mean? And that means that it is this is your opportunity to give a presentation to the class on something that you personally are interested in. Something that, it may be something that is of particular interest to you in your particular practice area. For example, if you're a pediatrics nurse and you want to give a report and give a little presentation to the class on new practice interventions or new practice guidelines and something having to do with pediatric nursing, that would be fine. If you're interested in the nursing shortage or the hospitals that are now starting to require magnet status and you want to do a presentation on magnet status, that would be great. If you want to discuss the nursing shortage or the Affordable Care Act or any of those things, lateral violence and bullying in the workplace, something that nurses quite often deal with. Those are all fair game. I'm pretty open to what that topic can be, as long as it can be drawn somewhere back, or that you can draw that line back to nursing, and something that would be something that the nurse leaders or the advanced practice nurse would delve in. It's perfectly fine to go ahead and choose that as your presentation topic. This week is just your outline, and the outline is not directly graded. However, I will be giving you feedback on your outline. Please turn that in to Turnitin. You'll notice that if you go to the units menu, I haven't quite figured out how to fix or how to keep it from directing you to the assignments folder. It needs to be turned into Turnitin, so please follow those directions. Make sure that it gets turned into Turnitin. The Turnitin outline assignment was not for the discussion question this last week. A few of you made that mistake also. It is for this particular assignment for your presentation this week. I am almost through, but not completely through, grading the papers from week number 2. Normally I have those done, I try to have them done by the end of the week. When things come up in my world as one of the leaders of the program, things came up this week with some curriculum issues. So I've been attending meetings in Azusa quite a bit this week, and so I've gotten behind, and I was hoping to have those graded by the weekend, and I've gotten behind in those, but they will be graded by the end of this week. Normally we say 10 days. This time it may be about 10 days, because there's a lot of you and it takes quite a while to do those papers. So I will have you, you'll have feedback before you start to work on that second paper. But look for the feedback later this week, in any case no later than Saturday night. So that, I think, pretty much does it. I look forward to continuing to engage in discussion with you and posing some new questions. This week is a particularly interesting topic, and of course, if you have any questions about what topic you want to present, or any issues or questions that you have about the presentation, please feel free to post those. I have some tips and tricks on how to develop a presentation. I'll talk about it a little bit more specifically next week. It's due the end of week 5, and this week you're really just talking about planning that. We'll talk more about the nuts and bolts of it next week. But if you're at least have an idea and you've got your getting your outline completed, you're right on track. So I look forward to being with you in class. Just like to pray and say, dear Lord, thanks for being with everybody. Just thanks for being here. As we experience this change of the season, and the days starting to get shorter and the nights longer, just be with us, Lord. Help your light to shine on us. Help us to always be focused on you and the work that we do for you, and help our working class to be reflective of that. May we continue to be arms of your love and guidance, and continue to be with us, Lord. And I say all this just holding all of our hands and saying, dear Lord, thank you, and amen. And one last thing I would say, don't forget that the initial discussion questions, the initial responses to discussion questions, are always due no later than Wednesday, and then the follow-ups due no later than Sunday. And your follow-up should be done on separate days. I've been giving some feedback on that in the discussions, but just if you want full credit, remember, you have to show that you have an ongoing discussion in the discussion questions, and they need to be posted on time. And so class always starts on Monday. Wednesday by midnight is always when the initial discussion response is due. The 2 follow-ups on the discussion questions are always due by Sunday. So I think that's it. I look forward to being with you in class. God bless, good luck, and we'll see you in the discussion forums.